At the start of the film, we meet a boy named Mataya who is standing nervously at a subway station because he felt like he was trapped in a maze, a labyrinth, where whenever he tried to go past exit number 8, he would somehow end up back at the same spot. And every time, he would see a man walking by silently without saying anything. Despite his fear, Mataya considers asking the man for directions, but as soon as he turns around, the man is right behind him, staring with wide eyes and a creepy smile as if he has read Mataya's mind. Mataya was so terrified of him that he didn't ask anything and just ran ahead. He then notices a board labeled Exit 0, while the board above it reads Exit 8, which he finds odd. Once, twice, even 100 times, he tried to find a way out of there, but every path seemed like a display of doors. He kept wandering again and again in the same maze. He even tried to make an emergency call, but none of the intercoms at the exits were working, and his own phone didn't have any signal either. Where could he go now? Unsure of where to go, he stands still and observes a picture on the wall where ants are trapped in a strange loop, trying to find a destination just like him. But neither the loop has a destination, nor is Mataya finding one. This picture and thought confirmed to Mataya that he was trapped in a loop just like this, and now he would never be able to get out. As he is contemplating this, blood starts dripping from the exit 8 board above onto his face. He is so frightened that instead of running forward, he starts running backward, and shockingly, he notices a significant change. The board that previously said Exit 0 now reads Exit 1, but everything else remains the same. There were also some hints written on this board. One of them said, if you notice anything that looks different or seems normal compared to before, immediately run back. And if you don't see anything normal or changed, then just keep moving toward Exit 8 like before. Mataya realizes that the dripping red liquid is now the norm. Because he ran back out of fear, that's how he moved from 0 to 1. Thinking about all this, he started to feel hopeful that he might be able to get out of here soon. He headed towards Exit 8 again. He didn't notice any changes, so he kept moving forward. But when he reached the board that said Exit 0, he was shocked. Where it had said Exit 1 before, it had turned back to 0. This meant he had done something wrong. He realized that this maze was just like a game. Just like in a game, one mistake can end everything and send you back to 0. In the same way, one mistake here would also bring him back to the start. He needed to follow the rules of the game and play carefully if he wanted to escape this maze. Thinking carefully, he took out his phone and started taking pictures of every little detail so that when he came through here again, he could spot any changes. He even took a picture of the man who kept walking past him under the Exit 8 board again and again. So far, he hadn't seen anything normal or any change, so he kept moving forward, and when he reached the second exit board, he finally saw that it said 1. That meant his guess was absolutely correct. Nothing had changed before, and he has cleared level 1. For level 2, he knows he must explore again and look for changes. Now, as he moves ahead and takes out his phone to look at pictures and find any changes, he sees that all the pictures on his phone have turned blurry. He couldn't make sense of anything in them now. He realized that to win this game, he would have to rely only on his mind. He was thinking about all this when he saw that the man who always walked past under the Exit 8 board was now standing still right there. He immediately realized that this was the change. So he quickly ran back the way he came. But the scary part was that the man started following him. It was as if he wasn't even walking, yet every time Mataya looked back, the man was standing right behind him. Frightened, Mataya even fell down. When he gets up, he sees he has reached the board that says Exit 0, where it finally reads 2, and the man is no longer behind him. This indicates he has cleared another level. After clearing 2 levels, Miyata's confidence grows even more. With growing confidence, he began to recall everything and search for changes. As he wandered through the same maze again, he heard the sound of a child crying from inside a locker. Nervously, he opened the locker, and the sight inside frightened him, though we weren't shown what he saw. Mataya was so terrified that he ran backward. This marked the completion of his 3rd level. The board that previously read Exit 0 now displayed Exit 3. He thought, only 5 more levels to go. After that, he will reach the corridor and escape from this terrible nightmare. Once again, he headed towards exit 8, carefully observing everything around him. This time, he felt as though someone was watching him as he moved through the corridor. When he focused on the pictures, it seemed like the people in them were turning their eyes to look at him. Experiencing this, he quickly ran back, and finally, the exit board changed from 0 to 4, indicating he had crossed 4 levels. He was extremely happy. He had completed 50% of the game. However, his happiness was mixed with panic because he knew that even a small mistake could send him back to 0. He began circling towards exit 8 again. As he was passing through the corridor, his phone rang. It was his girlfriend calling, which felt strange to Mataya because they had decided to part ways just a few days ago. When Mataya answered, he learned he was going to be a father. The girl had taken back all her decisions. If Mataya wanted to have this baby, she was ready to come back to him again. This news made Mataya feel uneasy. He recalled an incident from a few days ago on a train where a man scolded a crying child and his mother. He wanted to stand up for the child and his mother and say something to that man. But he just didn't have enough courage to speak up. Now, how could he take full responsibility for his own child? He was left feeling confused. At that very moment, he ended the call, and as soon as the call disconnected, everything was lost for him. The exit board, which had reached 4, reverted to 0. Actually, he had made a very big mistake. He already knew that there was no signal in the maze, and getting a call from his girlfriend here was the biggest change. And that's the change he missed, so he didn't make it back to the exit board. Now, having crossed half the level, he was back to 0 and had to start the game all over again. Frustrated, Miyata sat down and shouted loudly. He still had to get through the maze, but now he had no motivation left inside him. He kept moving forward with lifeless steps, but now he didn't notice anything different inside the maze. After turning in the corridor, he saw a child and immediately ran towards the back exit. But he saw that the exit board was still showing the number 0. That meant the child wasn't any kind of change. It turned out the child was stuck just like Miyata, trying to escape. Here, Miyata also notices the man who always walks past him dressed in a suit. At this point, Miyata realized the man was not part of the maze, but was trapped like him and the child, also searching for a way out. We saw that the man in the suit and the child used to work as a team. They also kept seeing a girl in the maze who, unlike them, wasn't trying to get out. When the man asked the girl why she wasn't trying to escape, she replied, "Every day, I get jostled by trains and head to work. Life is so tough, I don't think I should return to that tough life. I'm quite relaxed in this maze." As the girl was saying this, her voice slowly started to change. She kept repeating the same phrase she had once forgotten. When her voice deepened and turned into a man's voice, the man realized something was abnormal here, and he quickly ran towards the back exit sign with the child. They saw that their exit sign now displayed the number 6, indicating they were very close to winning the game. Once again, they go around the entire maze, trying to find out what has changed in it. Once more, they saw the girl passing by, but she didn't speak to them. The child noticed that the door handles were oddly attached. The child tried to tell the man about this, but the man ignored him and moved forward, and this small oversight, this little mistake, set his entire game back, and his exit sign returned to 0. This meant he had lost the game and needed to restart. The man was now disheartened. He was frustrated. In anger, he let out a scream, but it was crucial to get out of there. So once again, he prepared to play the game. He held the child's hand and started walking through the maze again. The interesting part was that now he noticed a way to go up. He was very happy and wanted to climb the stairs to go up. The child kept explaining that this is a game, an anomaly. We need to turn back according to the rules. But the grown man didn't listen to the child and climbed the stairs, and because of that, he got stuck inside this maze. The child who went towards the exit board saw that the number on the exit board had changed from 0 to 1. This meant the child was right. Those stairs were an anomaly. It wasn't a way out. The child now also understood that the man would always be trapped on those stairs. Anyway, the story shifts back to Miyata, to the place where he had seen that child. Miyata understood that the child and the man were previously playing as a team. Seeing the child alone, he realized that the man had abandoned the child. He didn't feel good for the child at all. The child then became Miyata's partner, and Miyata quickly noticed the child's high intelligence. The child was very sharp and could easily detect even the smallest changes. Utilizing the child's skills, they soon cleared the first and second levels. While navigating inside the table to clear the third level, the table's lights suddenly began flickering on and off. Alongside the cries of children, strange noises of rats speaking in bizarre ways filled the air. When Miyata turned on his phone's light, he saw the man standing in a very peculiar manner. Frightened, Miyata grabbed the child's hand and ran back, realizing they had cleared another level. Everything that happened, everything that scared both of them, was just a test for them. They started walking around the maze for the next round, and a woman appeared in front of them. Miyata understood that this woman was another irregularity, and they needed to turn back. But the child began to cry and moved towards the woman. The child was becoming very emotional, so Miyata picked him up and ran back, successfully crossing another level. However, even after crossing this level and winning half the game, Miyata felt no joy because he was worried about the child being away from his mother. He empathized with the child's distress and firmly held the child's hand, vowing to himself that he would reunite the child with his mother. As they wandered on the table again, they noticed no apparent changes, but the girl observed that the exit 8 sign above had the number 8 written upside down. This minor detail, which could easily be overlooked, was caught by the child's keen observation, prompting them to turn back immediately and cross level 6 as well. Now only 2 levels remained. Miyata knew that after this, he would be free from the maze. He would return to his own world. Yet, his feelings were strangely unsettled. Just as he was about to circle the table again, a sudden flood of water surged from behind. Miyata wanted to take the child back immediately, but the child fell and got caught in the water. Miyata didn't advance himself. Instead, he dove into the water to save the child. As soon as he entered the water, it was as if Miyata's world transformed. He began to see bizarre scenes and found himself near a beach where he saw his friend with him, and the child, who was with him at that moment, appeared as his family, his son. Here, he was enjoying his time with the child, and he realized that being a father is not a burden, but a profoundly beautiful feeling and relationship. Before he could think further, he experienced intense pain in his body and returned to reality. Miyata and the child were still trapped in the water. Using all his strength, Miyata lifted the child and tried to keep him above the water. He managed to hang the child on the exit 8 sign while he was swept away by the water's current. The scene cut, and a later scene was shown. When the little child awoke, he found himself in a confined space. The child turned back, and surprisingly, he still remembered all the paths and rules. When he turned back, the number 7 was now visible on the exit board, indicating they had crossed another level. The child knew that only the final level remained for him to cross, but now Miyata was not with him. Meanwhile, it was shown that Miyata had finally reached the final level, level 8. He was surprised, not happy, unsure if this was a victory or a trap. He could now clearly see the stairs ahead, and there were people walking on those stairs. Confused about whether to go back or move forward, he decided to move forward and called his friend on his phone. Now his phone had signals, suggesting he felt he had returned to the real world. He was finally free from this table. When his friend answered the call, Miyata expressed that he was ready to take on this responsibility. Miyata realized that he was ready to become a father. Miyata now steps into the metro. But the strange thing is that everything inside this metro looks familiar to Miyata, as if he has seen all of it before. Soon, a child starts crying and a man begins to scold the child and the mother. This is the same scene we saw Miyata in earlier in the movie.
तो देख चुके हैं। मियाटा ने इधर उधर लोगों को देखा, वो सारे लोग अजीब थे, अपने फोन में बिजी थे और यहाँ मियाटा का दिल टूट गया। वो समझ गया कि इस मर्तबा भी वो गेम के ट्रैप में फंस गया था। उसने तो नंबर 6 के बाद नंबर 7 क्लियर किया ही नहीं था और ये सब भी एक ट्रैप था। वो एक लूप में फंस चुका था और उसने बहुत बड़ी गलती कर दी थी। एबनॉर्मलिटी देखकर वो एग्जिट बोर्ड की तरफ वापस नहीं गया बल्कि आगे बढ़ता रहा और इस तरह अब वो दोबारा उसी लूप में फंस गया है जिसमें से वो निकलना चाह रहा था। और बस उसी को दिखाते हुए ये मूवी इस मिस्ट्री के साथ यहाँ खत्म हो जाती है कि क्या मियाटा आज़ाद हुआ भी है या उसी मेज के अंदर फंसा रह गया है।